At the top of the hour, the U.S. Space Shuttle Endeavour is scheduled to lift off into space in the next few moments. We will now join CNN's live coverage of that launch.
T-minus 3 minutes and counting. All is continuing to go well for today's launch of the Space Shuttle Endeavour and the first Hubble Space Telescope servicing mission. This mission is scheduled to last 11 days and includes 5 spacewalks.
Center in Atlanta, this is John Holloman. The Space Shuttle Endeavour is on the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The countdown clock is ticking, less than 3 minutes to launch. You can see the countdown clock there, 2.5 minutes left to go before Endeavour lifts into space on a 12-day mission to repair the out-of-focus Hubble Space Telescope. NASA television, as you can see, providing us lots of camera views. This is the very tip of the huge external fuel tank of the shuttle. A vent hood moving back off of that, because of course it couldn't go up into the air with that hood on top. The 6-man, 1-woman crew in their place. We'll listen to NASA commentator Bruce Buckingham and to the astronaut crew. That's pilot Ken Bowersox lowering the visor on his helmet.
T-minus 1 minute, 45 seconds. Everything continues to look good for launch this morning. In about 90 seconds, the Space Shuttle Endeavour will begin its 11-day flight to visit the orbiting Hubble Space Telescope, but not before lighting up the nighttime Florida sky. The launch should be visible for hundreds of miles. The mission and the record 5 spacewalks will be watched worldwide.
For those of you watching CNN at this moment, within 200 or 300 miles of the launch pad, you might want to keep at least part of your interest out the window, because the skies are relatively clear up and down the southeastern coast of the United States, and the shuttle will make quite a fireball as the 500,000 gallons of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen inside those main fuel tanks explode. We're in the final minute now before the countdown. So far, equipment-wise, nothing has gone wrong. Some weather problems, which were anticipated earlier, have not materialized. We'll listen in as NASA commentator Bruce Buckingham takes us through the final seconds of the countdown.
T-minus 31 seconds, and we have a go for auto-sequence start. Endeavour's onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions.
20.
T-minus 15 seconds. 11, 10, 9, and we have a go for main engine start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we have liftoff. Liftoff of the Space Shuttle Endeavour on an ambitious mission to service the Hubble Space Telescope.
Roll program, Houston. Roger, roll, Endeavour.
Houston now controlling. Endeavour's underway. Rolled on course for an orbit with the Hubble Space Telescope. Endeavour already traveling about 300 miles an hour. Altitude 1 mile. 3 engines on Endeavour are throttled back to 2/3 throttle to prepare the shuttle to pass through the area of maximum air pressure and go supersonic.
The next 7 minutes will almost certainly be the most exciting ever for the 7-person Endeavour crew. We're going to watch.
Endeavour's 3 main engines now back at full throttle. All flight control positions are go. Altitude now 10 miles, 7 miles east of launch pad 39B. Endeavour speed 1,700 miles an hour. 1.5 minutes since liftoff. Endeavour's already used more than 2.25 million pounds of propellant, and the shuttle weighs less than half of what it did at launch. Flight controllers are now standing by for burnout and separation of the twin solid rockets.
The most dangerous part of the space shuttle mission just ended, as the solid rocket boosters have fallen off the side.
Officer confirms a good
Endeavour.
The three main engines are now powering the space shuttle into orbit. Endeavour weighed 4.5 million pounds a few seconds ago, but it's losing weight fast as the hundreds of millions of pounds of rocket fuel and liquid oxygen and hydrogen is burned, sending the shuttle into its very high orbit. The shuttle has to travel 320 miles above the Earth because that's where the Space Telescope is waiting. Commander Richard Covey is in control of the shuttle right now, along with pilot Ken Bowersox, but sitting between them is a man who is making even more history than the rest of the crew this morning. Payload Commander Story Musgrave has just become NASA's most traveled astronaut. He is the only astronaut to lift off in the space shuttle 5 times. Story Musgrave is NASA's Renaissance man. 58 years old, he joined the space agency in hopes of traveling to the moon in the Apollo program. When that program ended, he decided to stay with the astronaut corps and continue his education. This former Marine is a surgeon, a parachutist, an accomplished gardener with college degrees in everything from mathematics and statistics to literature to biophysics and physiology to chemistry and computer programming. The father of 5, making his 5th trip, as we said, on the Hubble repair mission. As payload commander, Musgrave is in charge of all the spacewalking astronauts, and he's planned every single body move to be made by the crew from the time they go into the cargo bay until they return. At one point about a month ago, there was a NASA engineer who wanted Musgrave to change a setting on his electric wrench to remove a particular bolt, but he wasn't able to do that. Now, Story Musgrave and the rest of the astronaut crew on its way into orbit 320 miles above the Earth. That will end our coverage for the launch itself, but we'll be back with a replay very shortly. Right now, CNN viewers will be joining Showbiz Today, and CNN International viewers will be getting other news from CNN Headlines. John Holloman, CNN reporting.